Hi, Lee. Thank you so much for joining me to talk a little bit about Nordcraft for agencies. So, can you tell me a little bit about yourself and the and your company?
Absolutely, yeah. Pleasure to be here, Andreas. And firstly, thank you very much for building such an awesome tool. We really love using it here at Minimal Viable Launch. So, yeah, my name is Lee. I run a company called Minimal Viable Launch. We help our customers build amazing AI-driven experiences that make their customers say wow, and helps them build more revenue into their businesses. Typically, we're targeting businesses that aren't what you would consider tech startups. We call them boring businesses. They are in the range of 1 to 10 million pounds in annual revenue, and they haven't been on a technology journey typically in the past. Maybe they built some or they borrowed some SaaS platforms, plugged them into their businesses. But now with platforms like Nordcraft, with what we're seeing in the world of AI coming to the forefront of their mind, they want to build technology into their businesses. They don't want to build a 20-person development team in-house. They want to partner with someone like us who helps them identify the most painful aspects that their customers are suffering from and how we could deploy software into their businesses to make them do things faster, more reliably, in a more remarkable way. And that is essentially what we do here at Minimal Viable Launch.
Why did you choose Nordcraft as the platform to build these experiences on?
So I myself, I class myself as a frustrated engineer trapped in a UX designer's body. For a long time, I was working in some of the UK's biggest SaaS companies, scaling products as a UX designer, product manager, and I could never build what I had designed. Um, And that was frustrating for me because I was constantly told no by developers of why we couldn't do things, why things would take too long and be too difficult. And I would look at other products and say, like, this must be possible because our competitors are doing it. Why can't I? And I went on this journey of discovery around the low code, no code tools. And like I think most people who have dipped their toe in that water, I played around with Bubble, didn't like it, didn't feel confident in selling it. I played around with tools like Wiz. It was okay. It felt very risky to be selling that. And then it always felt like we were fighting against the way that apps should be built, the way that the internet works at large. And I come across Nordcraft as a technology and this idea that is a framework, but I don't need to write reams of code. I can work visually. It works like the tools that I know and love, like Figma. I was building Webflow sites at the time. It felt very comfortable to get in there. I did the 7 days of Nordcraft tutorials, and I think within about 5 seconds, I'd built a integration into the Apple iTunes store, was searching for music, was able to play it, and it just blew my mind. Like for the first time, I had the ability to not only design, but to deploy and build something. And that was really addictive. And we've just been on a tear since. The reason we choose it as an agency, it allows us to move fast. It has changed our design workflow massively. We used to be all in Figma. I haven't touched Figma for a couple of months. That's really surprising to me because Figma is probably very dear to my heart. But now we find ourselves designing and wireframing with Excalibur, building the front end UI as a prototype for our clients to say, hey, this is what we want to build. Let's go test that in the market. If we can sell this, let's put the functionality in the back end. And it's just a really fun way to build products. I don't need to worry about all of the kind of heavy lifting infrastructure, security concerns, all of those things that, like, quite frankly, stopped me as a non-technical person. Maybe I am a technical person now. Like maybe I've become a technical person through Nordcraft, but previously I'd be very worried about security concerns and the way scalability and reliability. And I've just found with Nordcraft, I don't have those concerns. You and your team have done an incredible job of building a piece of technology that, like, if I can dream it, I can build it. I used to struggle to sell no code to our customers because they would always ask, well, what can we do? Where's the roadblocks? Where's the dead ends? We've all seen bubble projects that have hit those roadblocks, and they've had to have really expensive rebuild projects go on the back of them. And I can now truly say to my customers, there aren't dead ends. If it can be built in the web, it can be built in Nordcraft, and we can build it fast, and it's not going to cost you six figures to get started. We can do it small, scalable, and deploy this technology. And I absolutely love it. I love building in Nordcraft. It's addictive.
I'm very glad to hear it. We used to say that we slowly trick people into learning programming without them knowing it, and I think that's often true. Yeah.
It's interesting. Like in the Nordcraft community, if you speak with a lot of people on the Discord forums or Discord server and the wider community, there is a lot of product designers. There's a lot of UX designers who have been brave enough to start building, and it is overwhelming at first. There is a lot to learn about building a functional application, but if you can think in atomic design, if you can think in components, very quickly you'll find that your design skills actually give you a massive advantage in terms of deploying real working products. And once you get over the hurdle of learning what an API is, doing that first integration, I personally started with Xano as our backend because I felt it was a little bit simpler, but we've moved now fully into Supabase. Like I'm writing Python scripts and playing around with vector databases and all sorts of crazy tools that I would never have dreamed of being able to do. And it really is a gateway drug in that sense, Andreas.
Absolutely. I'm really glad to hear it. So have you had any challenges trying to sell this to clients? Because obviously as an agency, you need clients to be on board, or do they not have any say at all in your case?
So I think at the start of our journey, I would map this journey as a transformation into a technology agencies, an agency that builds technology for our customers rather than just a design partner. It's probably been a 2-year process for us. I found that we were forever finding customers who had gone down the MVP route with other agencies or internal staff, and they had built too much too soon and hadn't validated with the market. And they were saying to us, if only we knew about you earlier, Lee, we would have saved all this money. And the only way to solve that, I found, was to build the technology. Then I had to learn to sell the technology, right? Learning to build it was easier than learning to sell it. I think the big thing that came up a lot is confidence. Nordcraft is new, and you have some questions from your customers around the maturity of the space that you're building this technology in. Being able to hand on heart kind of say to them, actually, this technology is built on the frameworks that the web is built on. Like it works with CSS, it works with a HTML structure. It works in the same way everything else does. It has this kind of React-based way of componentizing things, gives them a lot of confidence. They don't feel like they are treading a completely new path and they're going to be the guinea pigs. The other thing that's been a huge benefit to us with your decisions here at Nordcraft is the open sourcing of the technology. Me being able to tell them, look, yes, we're going to pay the cloud subscription fees to Nordcraft because this is simplest, it's going to get us going fastest, and quite frankly, is the route to getting something in your customers' hands faster. Being able to say to them, it's open source technology. If you want to move away from it, you could self-host it. If the subscription fees get too much, you can self-host it. If something were to happen to Nordcraft as an organization, you can self-host it. That really has been one of the biggest things. They want confidence that if they invest in this technology, that their investment is safe. And what we found that we were doing to get those customers who were slightly nervous about this technology over the edge is I had such high confidence in the technology. We just offered a guarantee and a try before you buy. We said, look, let's do 1 week of development for you on your idea. Let's see how far we can get. If you don't like it, we will scrap it. You can go with someone else. No money owed. And by the time we built, like a week developing in Nordcraft is a long time. You can build a lot in Nordcraft in a week. And they saw that progress They saw the ability to deliver their vision, and at that point, most customers are like all in. So there has been questions, but I think as Nordcraft gets more mature, those questions will become less. And your open source move, I think, is a very, very clever play, because it gives people confidence that they are in control of their product. It's their IP.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, for us, it's really important that if you're building something, you should own it. Right? You build it, you have to own it. And own it doesn't just mean in the narrowest legal sense, but it also means that you have the right to run that software however you want and wherever you want, right? That should be a baseline if you're spending time and money building something, right?
Definitely. And I will say as well, actually, showing clients that, or potential customers, that Nordcraft is built with Nordcraft in Nordcraft, like that is usually a mind-blowing moment for them. And they see the complexity of that app and they think, well, my app is way simpler than that. Because look, mostly with what we're doing is really B2B focused enterprise level systems. And most of that is fancy spreadsheets now with AI kind of helping do generation of data, analysis of data. So we're not building the most complex things in the world. And when they see that Nordcraft is vastly more complex and capable than what they want to build, that gives them the confidence, well, if that's possible, my app should be possible. And going into the community showcases and showing other products that have been built in Nordcraft is a massive win, especially if they're your products and you've delivered them. But if you're trying to sell your first product, like show what other people have built in the community. Don't claim it as your own, but say this is what's been built with the technology. You just need to give people confidence that they're not going to get burned by making this choice.
Absolutely. That makes a lot of sense. Can you share anything about the projects you have delivered?
So the projects we've built, like we have currently quite a few in the pipeline. As I say, like Nordcraft is the core scaling engine of our business. We feel confident to sell it. People feel confident to buy it. We have recently launched a really exciting application called Hey Monica, and it is a new way to train bookkeepers in the UK to do the job of a real bookkeeper in the real world. So we were talking with an organization that trains thousands of bookkeepers per year, and they were saying, we do these qualifications, they do their exams, they go and try to work with their first client, and the way that this is done in the real world does not reflect how the exams work in any way, shape, or form. Customers forget that they've got invoices, they don't know where their invoices are, all of these things that make it really difficult to work through. So we created a series of 10 AI agent bookkeeping nightmare clients. And as a newly qualified bookkeeper, you are able to interact with them. There's these kind of AI videos, there's a chat with the customer, there's an AI kind of co-pilot for this. And you have to work through real bookkeeping scenarios. These things take 3-4 hours to complete. And the clients, you have to ask them for documents. It can reveal the documents. You have to ask them for information about their business. And people are loving it. This is scaled to over 200 users in its first quarter. They went from 0 to a 6-figure annual recurring revenue business in the first 30 days. And that's with them putting the brakes on, right? They're like, we don't want to scale too fast. Let's slow things down. And I think, they're starting to take those brakes off now and they love it. Like we've done 3 releases this week of new features inside the platform. And they're like, it blows their mind at how fast we can move. And with what the Nordcraft team taught us around feature flagging and removing all of the infrastructure around deployment. So we don't have kind of a testing environment. It's all goes into the live environment once we're ready, and we can feature flag and slow roll releases. They have loved that because we're just constantly releasing. And we've started to work with another agency who's taking on one of our previous builds, and they asked us about that testing environment. I was like, you don't need it. They're like, what? I was like, trust me, you'll have more fun if you don't put that infrastructure in place on your app. just test in the branch and then feature flag it. So yeah, we've done things like that. We are helping building a quoting platform for a furniture company right now that's using AI to basically take a process that used to take them 2 weeks and get instantaneous quotes out of the door, which is really interesting, and many more projects to come.
That is great to hear. Well, thank you so much for this. Thank you for taking the time. I really appreciate it.
It's my pleasure, Andres. Thank you for building Nordcraft. We love using it.